Hello everybody, welcome. Welcome. So basically, in this reading, between the tarot card reading for September 3rd to September 13th of 2025, this is going to be a tarot card reading. This is going to be based on, there are two elements here, okay? Aries is a fire sign, a zodiac sign, alright, that's how it goes. And the other individual would be Aquarius as another air sign. So these two, they do get along, but then they don't get along. I don't know why. But per se, in that situation, I'm going to see what's going on between, whoever it is in this situation. This is going to be how it is. Because this is the way how it goes. This is the way how it's going to be. This is how it's going to occur and everything else. We have to recognize about the way how this is. We have to be boastful. We have to know how it goes. We're trying to not discriminate the way how it is. And this is how it is. The way how this is, you have to know the basics, because that's how it seems to be in that way. And when that occurs, you have to know exactly how it is, because you have to go with the flow. And this is how it is. So between Aries as a woman and Aquarius woman at the same time, this is how it is in that way. So this oracle card, it says forgiveness. Acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. This is how it goes. And whenever you feel like having your own forgiveness or apologies or whatever it is, you need to understand that, right? You have to believe that when you have your own source of having negativity, you have to draw into that, right? You have to understand that everything's going to be fine, but this is not how it goes. This is not how, easy as pie or anything like that. No. But this is how it goes. You have to believe that in order to do that, you have to believe that that's the way it seems to be. And when you do it, it's like, okay, everything's going to be fine. But that's how it goes. You have to be wanted, you have to be needed, you have to know what it takes, and you have to know how it is. You're trying to have your own self-sabotage or whatever it is, because you're trying to have your own self-control. That's how it goes. And when you do that, that's how it seems to be. This is the way how it goes in that way, and you have to depend on what you're doing in that way. Alright? So that's how it goes. So I'm going to do one card for each session. One on the left side, one on the right side. We're going to figure out who's in the middle of this situation between Aries and Aquarius at the same time. So this is how it goes in that way, because this is how it seems to be in this way of how it goes. So here we go. So the way how this is, so let's pretend that Aries was on the left side. Now Aries has the Seven of Cups reversed. There is no delusion here. Nothing like that. Alright, that's how it goes. But in between that, that's the way how it is. Now, I'm not going to get all you confused there, because in my own defense, is that on the right side with the King of Cups reversed, there is no support. Now, there might be no support for Aquarius. We don't know that for sure. But this is going to be uncertainty, right? That's how it goes. Now, let's see how it goes in this profession. Now, for Aries, let's see on the left side, please. The Knight of Cups is upright, there's fulfillment. Hierophant is upright, there's guidance. Ten Wands reversed, there's no burdens. King of Swords reversed, there's no knowledge. But Knight of Pentacles is upright, there's trust. Yes, there is trust and ability from one perspective, but that's how it goes in that way. So everything is fulfilled, So Aries on the left side, you pay attention to it on that way of how it goes. Now on the right side, for Aquarius, let's see what's happening. Eight Pentacles here, there's no perfection. The Gemini separate, you're going to take action, but Nine Wands is fear. Now, when the Nine Wands is fear, basically you have the ability to understand when you have fear, right? So if Aquarius has fear, she's going to have fear, no matter what the situation is. Now, between these two, right, between these two individuals that I'm talking about, this is the way how it is. So like Aries is on the left side and Aquarius is on the right side. That's how it goes. But this is the way how it seems to be. We have to understand about how it goes in that way, because it seems to be. So that's going on with Aries. So Aries has the Wheel of Fortune reversed, there's bad luck. The King of Cups reversed, there's no support. The Chariot is upright, there's progress. Exactly. When you have progress, Aries, you pay attention to it, no matter what the situation is for you. You pay attention what it works, what it doesn't, but you have to proceed with caution, you know? Everything has to be all short and sweet, but this is not how it is, right? This is not your strawberry shortcake. This is not how it goes. You have to understand that when you have progress, you pay attention to it. Whether you have no support or nothing, but then you have bad luck at the same time. It's like, why are you doing it? Because that's how it goes, right? This is how it's between when you have vice versa, and you pay attention to what's going on in that way. What's happening with Aquarius on the right side? The 9 wands is upright, there's immaturity. 3 cups reversed, there's no excitement. 3 wands reversed, there's no communication. Exactly. 4 wands is upright, there's celebration. Yes, there's celebration to occur, but the way how this is, if you have no communication, you're not communicating as well. You know, Aquarius, you need to get to a point. Whether you get to the point, you have your unnecessary skills, whether you like it or not, whether you're just behaving, whether you're acting with your immaturity, whatever it is, because this is how it goes. You have your own abilities from the right or wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But you have to ask forgiveness. You have to ask about what you are doing in that way, and this is how it goes. It's like everything seems to be fine, but then why are you doing it, you know? This is how how it is, and you have to prefer what you're doing in that way, vice versa. That's how it goes. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be. So let's see what's going on for Aries. So Sun card reversed, there's negativity. Alright, so Aries has negativity. Okay? So we understand that for sure. Alright? So let's see what's going on between the Aries side and the Aquarius side. What's on the right side for Aquarius? The Tower is upright. There's transformation. Alright, so everything's changing. Now, while we have that in that certainty, I'm going to clarify. I'm going to clarify for Aries in that specific order. And this is how it is in that way. So let me clarify that. So Devil is upright. There's obsession. Doesn't reverse. There's no action. The Empress reverse. There's no nourishment. Star reverse. There's inspiration. And the Empress upright. There's structure. Yes, there's structure. But when you have violence, it's like you're trying to say what you want, but then it's like why you're doing it, right? You're trying to physically understand who you're dealing with, and when you that, how it goes is like why are you doing it, right? You're trying to figure out about who you're doing it in one way or another, and think, all right, this seems to be fine. All right, I get it. All right, but this is how it goes. You have to believe that there is a silver lining to every situation, no matter how it is, right? That's why it seems to be that. So if you have your own control Aries, you pay attention to it, no matter how it is, right? What's happening for Aquarius on the right side, please? The Hermit reverse, there's no solitude. The Temperance reverse, there's no healing. Tower is upright, there's transformation. Alright, so I just clarified that. Now, the way how this is, you're trying to accept what you're doing in that way. Did you think that everything's changing? Yes, it is. But when you have that, it's like everything's like changing, transforming, everything is. So what's happening with this ceremony for Aquarius? The High Priestess is upright, there's no voice. The Hermit reverse, there's no solitude because you already have a soulmate. The Magician's reverse, there's no skill. The Moon is upright, there's misrotations. Obviously that is in that way, because you're trying to accept what you're doing in that way, and that's how it is. And when you do it, Aquarius, you get to the point, right? Whether you like it or not, that's how it goes. What's between the Emperor and the Devil card for Aries? The Magician reverse, there's no skill. The Justice reverse, there's no action. High Priest reverse, there's no invoice. The Chariot upright, there's progress. Obviously there is, because you're having progress stability from the right and wrong perspective. That's all you can do. But then you have to understand that you're trying to regulate of how you're feeling in that way, right? That's how it goes. What's between the High Priestess and the Moon card for Aquarius? The Devil is upright. There's obsessions and there's negativity. Exactly. So when you are doing that, things are not going as planned. Between the Aries side and Aquarius side, you have to try to understand that. You're trying to eliminate of how you're feeling. This is how it is. This is not going to be pretty for all of you who's watching this video, but if it does, you pay attention to what's going on. So what's happening in the middle of the situation? The King of Wands reversed. So it happens in that way. You're trying to figure out how you're going to be doing it in that way. It's like, okay, this thing be very interesting indeed. Alright, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. But if you keep doing it all the time, that's how it goes. You're trying to represent yourself. You're trying to have your own dignity, your own self-respect. You have your own ways about considering what you want, what you get. But then that's how it goes, right? So let's see what's happening between the middle and going towards the left side of Aries. Then I'll do the middle to the right side of Aquarius. So the Knight of Wands reversed, so there's no immaturity for both sides. Alright. So let's see what's going on for Aries. Nine of Pentacles reversed, you're feeling uncomfortable. Full reverse, there's no change. The Seven of Wands reversed, you're feeling re-silence. The Six of Swords reversed, there's no movement. And the Emperor is upright, there's structure. Ability from that. Ability where to understand of how you're doing it in that way, because you're trying to show about, oh, you're feeling uncomfortable, oh, things are not going as well, you know, that's how it is. When you feel uncomfortable, you're feeling like that. So it's like, oh, everything seems to be fine. Oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I quit. It's like, yes, but apparently why you keep doing it, you know? This is like a life lesson here. No matter what it is, because that's how it goes. You're trying to do exactly how it is in that way. So what's happening with this Emperor card for Aries? Knight of Swords, there's no drama. And Four of Pentacles separate, you're looking for money. Two of Cups reversed, there's no relationships or friendships between each other. And the Devil separate, there's obsessions, there's addictions, there's negativity again, right? So Aries, you need to pay attention whether you're feeling it in that way, right? You try to go with the flow. And when you do that, you need to express yourself of how you're feeling in that way. It's like, oh, this seems to be happening. Alright, I know what to do. Yes, but you have your own considerations to understand that, right? Now, what's between the middle and the right side for Aquarius? The Devil is separate, there's decisions. The Queen of Pentacles separate, there's insecurity. And the Six of Pentacles reversed, there's no kindness, exactly. Four of Wands reversed, there's no celebration. King of Pentacles separate, there's security here. That's how it goes. So why are you feeling why are you having no kindness whatsoever, Aquarius? Is there something the matter here? Let me clarify that. The Five of Wands reversed, there's no chaos. The Five of Swords reversed, there's no conflict. But Three of Pentacles is upright, there is excitement. You're talking about it. You're trying to have a three-way conversation. Because you're trying to figure out, oh, you know, I'm the fifth wheel here, or I'm the third wheel here. Whatever it is. There's no wheels involved, alright? That's how it goes. But you know how it seems to be. You're trying to understand of what you're feeling in that way. It's like, alright, this seems to be fine, alright. But this is how it is. You're trying to not instigate. But if you do, that's the way it seems to be. It's like everything seems to be fine. But that's how it goes. What's in the middle of the situation? The Five of Cups is separate. There's grief, right? So there is grief here. Now, grief is basically where you're grieving about something, you know, everything's not going as planned. That's how it goes. You're grieving between each other, you know, whether you like it or not, but, you know, that's how it goes. You're trying to have a bad taste of your mouth. You know, that's how it goes. When you have a bad taste, you know how it goes in that way. You're trying to figure out, oh, well, this is interesting. Alright, I know what to do. Yes, but as a matter of fact, you don't. You pay attention on how you're doing in that way. What's happening between Aries on the left side? Queen of Cups separate. So there is empathy. There's two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. You remain of how it goes, Aries. You pay attention to it. If you're focusing on the Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, you know how it goes. Maybe you might want attention. Maybe you're trying to figure out what you're going to be doing. You're trying to do that in the way how it goes. You're trying to do exactly how it is in that way. Alright? What's happening on the right side for Aquarius? The Five of Swords here. There's no conflict. Not yet. But the way how this is, you know, we're going to figure out what's happening in this way. So, this is the way how it goes. There are two sides of the story here, right? One makes sense, one doesn't make sense. Now, I'm going to go from the middle to the left, middle to the right. So, High Priestess reverse, there's no inner voice. The Devil is upright, there's obsessions and addictions. The Magician reverse, there's no skill. Knight of Pentacles is upright, you're feeling uncomfortable. And the Five of Wands is upright, there's chaos. Exactly, right? So when you do that, Aries, you pay attention to how you're feeling in that way. It's like, oh, everything's going to be fine. Alright, I got this. Yes. But doesn't involve you. Doesn't involve the situation. Doesn't involve how it came. That's the way it goes. You have to pay attention to what you want, what you get, how you're feeling in that way, right? You have all these emotions, and you figure out how you're going to be feeling in that way. You have to feel about how you're feeling in each day. Day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, right? You take it as it is, right? That's how it goes. What's between the middle and the right side for Aquarius? The Emperor reverse, there's no structure. 5 cups forward, there's grief. 9 cups forward, there's romance. The Empress reverse, there's no nourishment. The Justice reverse, they're not telling the truth. The Hermit upright reverse means you already have a soulmate. The Seven of Pentacles reverse, there's no vision of the career. But the Judgment story, you're taking action. Obviously, you are taking action. When you're feeling like you have romance, Aquarius, you pay attention to how you're feeling in that way. It's like, oh, everything seems to be fine. Yes, of course. But you understand of how you're doing in that way. You're trying to do what you can in that way because you have to acknowledge of who you are in that way. What's in the middle of this situation? 2 Pentacles upright, yeah, because you're balancing 2 things at once, right? So this is how it goes, it's the way it seems to be. So you're balancing 2 things at once, right? Both of you pay attention, right? Now you're balancing 2 things at once, okay? Now, the way how this is, the way how I'm going to not to photograph this in my mind right now, but if it is, you know how it goes, right? So Aries, you're going to have 1 card, 2 of cups reversed. So there's no relationships or friendships. What's in the middle? You have the Hierophant upright. There's guidance, alright? What's on the right side for Aquarius? The 10 wands, sorry, there's burdens. Alright, so Aquarius has burdens. Okay, we're going to look at that. But let's look at the 2 of cups reversed for Aries. Let's see what's wrong with that picture. The 7 of swords is upright. You're feeling deceit. The 6 of swords reversed is no movement. But the King of Swords is upright, you want knowledge. Alright, so you want knowledge, but the way how this is, you're feeling deceit. Everything is deceiving you. If everything is deceiving you, what's next, right? This is how it goes, right? So you pay attention on how you're feeling in that way. You have to go with the distance. You have to know what it is in that way, right? Everything's going to be fine. But this is not a pity party. This is not the way how it goes. So Aries, you pay attention to what you're doing in that way. You go with the flow, right? That's the way how it goes. What's between this Hierophant, between the 2 of Aries and Aquarius? The Moon is upright, there's miscitations. The Temperance reverse, there's no healing. Judgment reverse, you're not taking action. But the Ace of Swords is upright, there's an understanding. Yes, that there's an understanding here, because the Moon is affecting between you 2, right? That's how it goes. So you're trying to remain of what you're doing in that way because you think, oh, everything's going to be fine. Alright, I got this. Yes, but you have to proceed of what you're doing going to be coming up next. That's how it goes, right? You're trying to make your first move. You're trying to figure out how your own strategy is, whether you like it or not. But if you have a bad taste in your mouth, you have to know exactly how it is in that way. You have to try to go with the flow. And when you do it, that's the way it seems to be in that way. What's happening with the Aquarius between this 10 wands here? The Empress is upright, there's nourishment, and the 8 of swords is upright, there's anxiety. Yes, because Aquarius is feeling sad, whimpering, that's how it goes. No control, whatever it is, because you're not controlling your emotions. Everything's affecting you. And either by that, whether you like it or not, you have to pay attention on what you're going through, right? That's what it seems to be. Because if things are going as, south, west, north, east, whatever it is, you pay attention, right? That's how it goes. You have to focus what you want or what you're going to do next. That's the way it seems to be in that way. So let me clarify between this King of Swords for you, for Aries. Queen of Cups, there's empathy. 10 of Pentacles, there's no wealth. 3 of Wands, there's no communication. Exactly. If you have no money and you have no communication, you have empathy. Two sides of the story here. One makes sense, one doesn't. You pay attention to it. What's happening with this Three of Wands here? Three cups reversed, followed by the world is upright. There's completion. Exactly, Aries. You have completion is everything is completed, right? Everything is get to the point where you like it or not, but then that's how it goes. You have to proceed that you're doing it as wonderful, as correctly, as you can do it, as how it is. You know how it is in that way because you're trying to acknowledge of who you are in that way. You know, you go with the flow and that's the way it seems to be. What's between this moon card and this Ace of Swords? The Justice of you're telling the truth. The Strength of reverse, there's no bravery. King of Swords, there's support. When you have the Strength of reverse, you're not being brave. You're being scared, right? And that's how it goes. What's between this Strength card here? The Four of Cups is upright, yeah, because you want a distraction. You want to have a distraction because you need to understand about that. It's like, it's always about you two, as in, you know, Aquarius and Aries. You pay attention to it, right? You have to believe whether you're going to consider your options, whether you like it or not, you know? And when you have support, or when you have a distraction, whatever there is, it's like, why you keep doing it, right? You have to know exactly you're playing by the rules. You have to pay attention. If you have the instructions of something, you pay attention, whether you like it or not. But you pay attention. That's all you can do, alright? Stick to the point. What's happening with Aquarius? The Ten of Cups, sorry, there is completion. Ace of Swords, there's no anxiety. Page 1, sorry, there's invention. The 6 of Wands, there's no celebration. Page of Swords, sorry, there's education. Yes, because you're being educated on it. When you're being educated on it, you know how it goes in that way. Because it's like, oh, everything's going to be fine. Alright, this is how it goes. So let's see what the universe is saying between these two. You know, this is how it goes. And when you do that, this is how it is. In that way, is you're trying to focus and you're trying to do exactly how it is. So let's see what the universe is saying. So I'm going to go from the middle to the left, middle to the right. 6 Swords is over, there's movement. 5 Cups here, there's no grave. 6 Cups over, there's the past. Just for yours, they're not telling the truth. The 5 Wands here, 4 Wands here, there's no celebration. 9 Pentacles over, there's trust. Alright, Aries, you have trust, you have the ability of how it goes. If you have the just reverse, you're not telling the truth. You're making up a lie. Now, if you're making up a lie, and I'm telling you this, whether this reading does make sense to you, Aries, you pay attention to it, right? So let's see if I clarify this correctly. 3 Pentacles over, there's excitement. The Empress over, there's nourishment. Ace of Cups here, there's satisfaction. High Priestess reverse, there's no invoice. 6 Wands here, there's no achievement. 9 Wands here, there's no immaturity. King Pentacles over, there's security. Exactly. You have security. This is based on that. It's based on when you're thinking, oh, well, I know what to do. I got this. Yes, everything's remaining. That's the way it seems to be. You get to the point. You get to the point where you have to act upon it, whether you like it or not, but you have to proceed with caution, right? You have to read between the lines. You have to know what it takes. You have to know how it goes. This is not your backdrop. This is not the way how it goes. But you have to focus on how you're doing in that way. Proceed with caution, Aries. Get to the point. What's between the middle and the right side for Aquarius? 5 Pentacles over, there's insecurity. 9 Cups here, there's no fulfillment. 2 Swords is upright. So you don't know which direction you're going to take, left or right. But let's see what's going on for you, Aquarius. 2 Wands is upright, there's planning. And the Page of Wands is upright, there's invention. Alright, so you want to be an inventor. And let's see what's going on. Queen Cups is upright, there's empathy. Yes, there's 2 sides of the story here. Aries wants 2 sides of the story, and Aquarius wants 2 sides of the story here. That's how it makes sense in that way, right? That's how it goes. And when you do that, that's what it seems to be in that way, right? You have to try to remain of how you're feeling, Aquarius, if you like it or not, but it's based on that. It's based on that point of view, That's how it goes. What's in the middle of this situation? 3-1 over there's communication. Yes. So when you have your own communication, you pay attention on how it goes. It's the way it seems to be. This is how it goes. This is how it looks like. That's the way it seems to be. And when you do it, that's how it is in that way. So before I let you all go, try to pay attention about how it's going to be feeling between an Aries woman and Aquarius woman. These two are different elements, but you know how it goes, right? So you have to pay attention whether you like it or not, whether you're going to have your own empathy. You have to show what you're going to express of how you're feeling. That's the way it seems to be. And when you do it, that's the way how it goes, and you're trying to be helpful, you're trying to acknowledge that. That's how it is. And when you do it, it's like, okay, everything's be fine, alright, I know what to do. That's how it goes, Everything has to be all good, but you have to understand that. That's the way it seems to be. You have to acknowledge of how you're doing in that way, and you're trying to, do exactly what you're told to do. You have to be responsible. You have to know how you're feeling. You know how it is. So when you're acting, everything's going to be fine. That's the way it goes in that way, and you have to know what it is in that way, right? So that's how it seems to be. So I hope you all like this video. Please give a like in the comment if you want, but this is the way it seems to be, and I hope you all like it, and this is the way it seems to be. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to all, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye for now. Really, thanks, and bye.